Hi everyone, welcome to the Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Hunter.
I'm Rachel.
And today we are going to be focusing on one of my personal favorites, Trigun.
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 Tri-stamp.
Tri-stamp, Trigun. We won't be covering the manga because I have not read it, but we will be covering a little bit of Trigun from the 90s. We will briefly cover Trigun Badlands Rumble, and then mostly we will be covering Trigun Stampede. Rachel, Rachel, do you want to tell everyone how much you love this beautiful piece of media?
So Trigun is not one of my hyperfixations. Hunter will be doing 90% of the talking on this one. So the story is the same friend who recommended me Buddy Daddies recommended me to watch Tri-Stamp. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch because Buddy Daddies was so good. But I did not like it. I was legit falling asleep in the middle of it, so I'm like, I'm just not invested. The only good thing about the show that I liked was the song. I liked the song the best.
Do not lie, you love Livio.
I do like Livio because I like siblings, so he was like the best part of that, but he was only in for like 15 minutes, so...
It's not his fault. He'll be back in season 2 or whatever it is that we get.
Yeah.
He will be back in a major way, I believe it in my heart.
I mean, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we will definitely be getting into him later.
But, yeah, I just didn't like it, and I was like, you know what, Hunter's gonna like this, so I recommended it to Hunter, and yeah, she loved it.
She was
like,
right!
Can't relate, but...
I'm literally wearing a Trigun jacket right now.
Yeah.
It's from Steady Hands. I'm not sure if they still have it now. They recently, majorly swapped out their stock for some new shit.
Yeah.
But it's so cool. It's a good zip up jacket. It's red. The left sleeve has blue and then the red stripe where his little red cuff is in in Tri-Stamp. It's so good. It's so comfy, y'all. That's neither here nor there. I just love their shop. But y'all, I love Tri-Stamp. That was my first introduction to Trigun at all. And then after that, I watched it all in a single day.
Oh my god.
I watched it all in a single day. And then I was like, I need more. So then I went back and I watched Trigun. And then I was like, I still need more. So then I watched Trigun Badlands Rumble. And I was like, that's still not enough. So then I immediately watched Tri-Stamp again. And this was still all in a single week.
Oh my god. Versus me over here struggling to get through Tri-Stamp so I could tell my friend, yeah, I watched it.
God, that's so funny to me. I'm never gonna get over it.
I'm just not into space westerns as a genre. I'm barely into sci-fi.
Love Star Wars. And what is that but a space western?
I break down how I feel about Star Wars. I don't love Star Wars as a universe. I like certain relationships between certain characters. I do not give a fuck about the world of Star Wars. I really
Neither
don't.
did George Lucas.
Yeah,
so that's fair.
So even some of the movies, I'm like, I'm not into this because it doesn't have the characters' relationships that I like. So yeah.
God, that's
yeah. So I'm just not a sci-fi person. I do like westerns, but I don't like sci-fi westerns together.
God, and see the one of the things that I adore about Trigun is the world building. Because especially because at first, not so much with Tri-Stamp, but with Trigun, and I imagine with Trimax, which for any of y'all who are not familiar with Trigun, the all of it is Trigun. The manga is generally referred to as Trimax just because after a while Trigun had to be moved to a different publisher, I think it was, and started going by Trigun Maximum.
So that's now what everyone calls it.
Yeah, so now it's Trimax, and then the anime is just Trigun because it didn't get a subtitle. Trigun Badlands Rumble is a movie that's in the universe of Trigun, and then Tri-Stamp is Trigun Stampede, the
most recent,
the new reboot anime,
reboot,
which is follows a vastly different timeline, is my understanding, or it just everything kind of falls together differently.
Interesting,
but it's so good. It has a great understanding of the characters, and follows them through. It just sets everything up kind of differently. They're pulling things differently from the manga, and it's delicious, y'all.
That's good. A good interpretation, then.
I love it. What was I saying before I decided to?
I don't remember.
I don't even remember. World building. like at first it sets you up as like you are meeting this like I'm gonna set it up with Trigun uh, as the intro because I think it was following the manga at first. It was coming out before the manga had finished, so it's God, it's bonkers to watch, y'all. I can't imagine watching it without already knowing the lore.
So the original Trigun, side note, came out in like the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really old.
It's a wild time. It does have a lot of those like kind of iffy anime tropes of like Vash like being weird around women and like it's like buddy please you need to stop. That's neither here nor there. First of all when you watch it you get this badass macho man musical intro. It's all like hard rock riffs and like you see him holding his gun and it's like flash of him over here, flash of him over there, him in his red coat and him in his like flunky ass gun and he's like really cool and like maybe there's a gunshot in the background and blah blah blah. You're like this is a macho man. And then you like see these guys like storming into this like the show starts and you see these like guys coming into this dingy bar and they're like we're looking for Vash the Stampede. He's got a $60 billion double dollar bounty on his head. We're gonna get him. And you're like, oh no, like this guy's some tough character shit. Like, oh my God. And then you see like they shoot down the whole bar and he still manages to just be like sitting at the bar, like not touched. And he like holds a gun up to them and you hear a gunshot. And it's like all sets him up as like really cool. And you're like, ah, nice. This is some like classic Western shit. This is like beautiful. Like he's just gonna be like a rough and tough cowboy.
Very much Western.
And then you come back to him and he like you see him like he's got the gun held on these bounty hunters. He pulls the trigger. He's out of bullets because he's a dumbass. And then he just like runs away in the most silly possible way he can. He's just like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm a silly little guy. And then like every time you see him for the next 6 straight episodes, it's just him going, I'm just a silly little guy. Can I get a donut?
He is a little guy. He's like just 5 feet tall.
He's very tall.
He is?
He's so tall.
In 98?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Both
even know
versions.
that.
He's like a tall guy.
I know he's tall in Tri-Stamp, but
yeah, no, he's monstrously tall.
I have not seen the 90s
He's
one.
tall. He is extraordinarily thin. Like he's got the like, sluttiest little waist. But he's like just so sometimes they're like, what do you want? Like, what is your deal? Why is the world like this for you? And he's just like, I am trying to bring the world love and peace. And he says it just like that. And he does this stupid little hand motion where it's like he's doing like he's crossing his fingers to do like I don't know if anyone's been the cursive R basically, and then his like thumb is out and he's like love and peace because he's like combining like the fingers out for a peace sign but then also crossing them to make a heart, so then it's like love and peace. And that's what he's like I'm here for love and peace, and everyone's like you are the most dangerous man on the planet. You are the humanoid typhoon. What? But that's all it is. It's just like he's just this silly little guy who gets into trouble in a Western wasteland. That's all you know. For the most part. And then like you watch this for like 6 straight episodes before suddenly there's a woman who's like, you killed my entire city when I was a child and I'm here to seek revenge and I'm locking you in the room with a power plant that's about to explode because I want revenge. And he's like, I'm so sorry for what happened to you, but I don't have actual memory of that event. I think I did it, but I don't have memory and I'm very sorry. And it's like so heartfelt for the first time ever. And you're like
he's serious.
Yeah, he's like dead serious. And it's like, I didn't know you knew how to do that. And she's like, too bad, you're dead now. And she just like leaves. And you're like, what the fuck?
Love that female rage.
It's great. She's like fully ready to like kill another town to get revenge for her city being dead.
The dangers of revenge.
And then he like turns around, looks at this plant, which up until this point, any mention of a plant you've assumed is like a power plant. But now it's like this giant thing and a giant light bulb. And he just like reaches his hands up to the bulb and connects with the entity inside, the whatever thing it is that's creating power. You still don't get a good look at it, but he is just interacting with it in some way that you can't clearly see. And now there's no meltdown. There's no explosion. And he's able to just like leave, and he goes to her and he holds her and he apologizes for whatever happened in the past 20 years ago. And she realizes that whatever happened back then, whatever killed the city, he was there after that and comforted her in her loss back then.
Oh, she remembered that.
She remembers that some man who she now recognizes to be Vash held her through that, and you just have this very touching moment and this very apologetic moment, this very like strange alien moment.
Yeah.
And then the next episode comes around and he's like, aha, I'm a silly little man. Let's go on an adventure, Meryl. Let's go, Millie. Let's go let's go not get arrested. I don't know. And
so it's like it sprinkles some seriousness, but then like you're just like, what the fuck is going on the whole time?
You like watch this happen and you're like, no, can we go?
Can we
you
get
just,
back to that?
What did you do with that thing back there? What was in the glass and what did you do to it? You just don't know. You don't know. You don't get to know. You're not allowed to know.
And you said it's because like they didn't even know when the manga was coming out.
Yeah, they were kind of on par or just shortly behind, I think, where the manga was, or So he doesn't like. They didn't know the lore to be able to hint it to us.
It's like Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah. God, yeah. The like 03 version or whatever. And some like some other things that you like don't get to know lore-wise until like the end. Something that is crucial to Vash's story. He has a twin brother who's evil and wants to destroy all of humanity. You don't really get to meet Nye until episode 17 or 18. You don't get to see him until episode 16 in a brief flashback of images or like montage of images, but it's so fast and quick that it might not even have been Night. It could have been Legato. I'm not entirely sure. 16 episodes.
It's like, what the fuck is going on?
16! So not entirely clear. The first 5 episodes go by without anyone actually believing that Vash is Vash the Stampede. They think he's some guy just saying he's Vash for some reason. They don't believe that he's the humanoid typhoon. They think he's too silly.
Yeah.
Meryl is the most determined not to believe it because she's like, that man is too stupid. It's not possible. For anyone who's unfamiliar, Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep
and her partner, Millie Thompson, work for an insurance company. And they have been tasked with finding the humanoid typhoon, Vash the Stampede, to try to keep him from causing more damage, or at least verifying what damage is his fault so that they can like try to minimize how many claims they have to pay out is essentially what their job is. That's it.
Gosh.
That's what their job is. They're like, we're gonna hang with the typhoon to try to minimize damage. They don't do anything. Like they can't stop the damage because Vash isn't causing any of it. It's people hunting Vash down or stuff just happening in his vicinity. I love Meryl. She's beautiful and wonderful and that like butts heads with Vash all of the time. And she's so brave. I love her. And Millie is the best character in the entire show. She's possibly taller than Vash is.
Cool.
Incredibly like broad, and she has the biggest gun I've ever seen in my life. That's usually just underneath her coat.
Nice.
So usually people are like, oh, these tough girls, what are they gonna do? And then like the strap holding her gun breaks and it like falls out of her coat and she's like, oops, sorry. And they're like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
I love her. She's the sweetest and happiest person of all time.
Cool.
And has so many siblings.
Nice.
We don't get to see them, but she writes them a letter every single day.
Aww.
So many siblings. I love her. Millie is best girl, and she has, I cannot wait for her to show up next season. We've got a hint in Tri-Stamp that she'll be coming in. And she has the best friendship with Wolfwood. Like, they occasionally pretend to be a couple just to, like, deal with whatever's going on. And so they just start calling each other, like, honey and dear all the time. And it's precious. I adore them. More things where they messed up the lore. This one's my favorite. This one's my absolute favorite. Vash's mother, not like as in fully gave birth to him, but when Nye and Vash were just like found on the spaceship that brings
like
everyone to the before they crash landed on this desert planet. Her name is Rem. She fully like she's like, oh, look at these infant boys who appeared on our ship. They're mine now. Yeah. I'm gonna raise them as best I can. She's wonderful. Vash absolutely adores her. Nye's relationship with her is more complicated. Doesn't matter. The first time we see Rem is in an episode. Is the first time that Vash turns down sleeping with women. Normally he's all like, pretty girl, let me woo her. And it's so annoying and creepy, as is usual for that era of anime. But this is the first time we see him turn down sleeping with women. In fact, they are sex workers who like approach his inn, like his room, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna be able to like sleep with Vash the Stampede, the humanoid typhoon. Like, how wild is that?" And they like look in, and he's like asleep on the bed. They're like, "Damn, there goes our chance," and they leave. And then it turns out Vash is actually very much awake in there and just didn't want to deal with it, which is like wild. He loves hot girls. This is like his favorite thing, that and donuts. And he turns down these women at the very beginning of the episode. A little bit goes by, and then we see him have this like flashback or like dream or something, I don't remember, where he sees this young woman. She is kind of at a distance. She's got her back to him, and she's got red flower petals flowing all around her, kind of circling her image. And she kind of laughs or something, and he like reaches out to her. He's like, "Rem, no, come back." And then like, the vision's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so Vash turned down women and is reaching out towards this woman now. Does he have a dead girlfriend?
Yeah.
And that's just what you're left with for like another 6 to 10 episodes. Her. Her.
Yeah, they don't explain it though right away.
Not at all. So that's super, super fun. What's one thing that's very interesting to me though is at the end, the final confrontation between Vash and Nai, because we do get a final confrontation between the two of them. We see them both, they both have the same gun, because in this particular story, the gun is something that Nai built for them as a way to channel and trigger their angel arm guns, which is a whole other thing. They both are using the same gun. They both pull out their angel wing guns. They are like fighting identically. They're equal in every single attack. It shows how they are mirrors of each other. But the thing that gains Vash the actual advantage in this fight, that helps him to win this fight, is that despite the fact that through the entire story, Vash has refused to kill. The only time we see him kill is when he killed Legato Blue Summers, one of Nai's cronies. He was like basically forced into it. It was that, or he lost both Millie and Meryl. He had to kill Legato. But in this final confrontation, Nai was refusing to make a killing blow with any of his shots, but Vash was willing to take a killing shot. And he heard Wolfwood help him through the fight. So Wolfwood, who is already dead at this point, was there helping him in this fight, which I think is very important because while, again, I don't know the entirety of the lore here, because, again, I have not read the manga, we did not get to see, when Wolfwood died, we did not get to see the couch. We did not get to see the bride. We did none of that, which I know, Rachel, you won't necessarily know what that means. And again, I don't know the entire lore, but I know the tragedy of it all. These are rather tragic symbols of Wolfwood's death. We did not get to see those things, but Wolfwood still is able to. He is still there and has a connection with Vash and is able to help him there in the end.
Okay.
So that's my big summaries for Trigun. I didn't want to take too much time with that, but I think I still took like 20 full minutes on that.
That's okay.
Something like that. So I will try to I'm going to breeze through Rumble because I only have like a couple of points about that just because they're funny.
Okay.
So.
The movie.
Yes, this is the movie. This is still in the Trigun's universe. It takes place somewhere in the middle at some point when the insurance girls, Vash, and Wolfwood have all parted ways. I have so many thoughts about Wolfwood. I barely talked about him in Trigun, mostly because I want to talk about him
in Tri-Stamp.
Yeah, later. Man, y'all, he is just a fucking wild guy. I have so many thoughts about him in his position as a priest. One quick thought about him in Trigun, just to because someone pointed this out to me, or I saw a post about it on Twitter like literally yesterday. He calls himself a priest. He walks around with a portable confession booth, which is just a little thing that's shaped like a church that he puts on someone's head. He's
like a hat.
Yeah, it like fully covers their head. It's That's adorable. So funny. And he's like, you can confess. Also, I'd love money, thank you. But it's
the Catholicism.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So he calls himself a priest. He uses confessionals. He has the like crucifix. He paints himself to be a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
But evidently, in the Japanese translation, the term he uses to describe himself is not priest, but essentially pastor. So he uses a non-Catholic term to describe himself, yet he dresses himself as a Catholic.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it's like, is that because at this point in humanity, like the stage of humanity, that things have just merged back together?
Maybe.
Or is it because he's a con man?
Yeah, and doesn't quite know.
Exactly. And there are like many things that we know about him, and it's like he definitely has in that one he himself has opened an orphanage because he wants to take care of kids who are like him.
Nice.
And we know that, but we also know he has ties to the Eyes of Michael and the Gung-Ho Guns.
Yep.
So he's like also very much like an assassin.
Yep.
The cross, I'm sure people have seen pictures of Wolfwood. He's carrying around this giant cross. His cross is very heavy because it's filled with mercy. The mercy is guns. The cross itself is a gun and a missile launcher.
It's ridiculous.
It's
so ridiculous.
He's an assassin, but he is also like a very loving man who wants to protect children and the people around him. And like that is true through every version of him. He's also got to have the titties showing at all times. That's also a consistent thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was it. I just thought that was a super interesting point. Badlands Rumble. For some reason, there are aliens in this one. Not as a major point, just sometimes when in the crowd shots, you see aliens. I don't know why. Humans and like worms / animals are the only things that exist on No Man's Land / Gunsmoke. Like this is a thing that's been established in every version, but for some reason in Badlands Rumble, there's aliens.
They're tourists.
They're just hanging out there, I guess. Vash is also still very terrible about women in this one, if not worse.
Annoying.
He meets this woman, Amelia. He is just like, he follows her off the steamer ship to her hotel.
Oh my god.
And then like just fully insinuates himself in her. And then somehow manages to convince her to join him and the insurance girls who he meets up with, coincidentally. And then she gets dragged into like having dinner with them. And it's like there that they actually make a connection to have like. But the thing is, beyond how horrible Vash is, if we can like skip the weirdness and just be like, oh, now we're like actually friendly. Vash dies in this one, in that he gets shot and falls under the desert sand and then disappears and everyone thinks he's dead. The only thing they can pull from the sand are Vash's signature glasses, his weird little orange lens, zigzag frame glasses. This is, the thing is, from here, Wolfwood and the girl, Amelia, were both there to see this happen. Amelia was dead set on getting vengeance on this man, Gasbag, and was like chasing after him. Vash was trying to stop her. Wolfwood was just like, I guess I'm along for the ride now. This is a whole big chase scene. Vash falls into the sand. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting to me. Because Vash is gone. Wolfwood and Amelia have direct parallels from here on out.
The gay subtext.
Yeah, it's not even fucking subtext. It is just fucking text.
Wow.
These two mourn Vash in the exact same ways. They both, like, set themselves up initially of, like, trying to avoid Vash. Like, we've seen that part for Wolfwood. Like, initially, they, like, well, he befriends him pretty quickly, but is also like, I need to, like, deal with my own shit. We'll meet up, whatever. But then, like, and after that, they both have, like, no issues saying what they think, standing up for themselves, like, doing what needs to be done. Neither of them necessarily align with Vash's morals. She is very outspoken about this. She's like, I am very much willing to go kill Gasbag. And Wolfwood's like, but sometimes you just gotta kill a guy. Like, which sometimes Vash is not opposed to utilizing.
Vash will kill someone every now and then.
Vash doesn't kill. Vash does not kill. He never intentionally kills. He will prevent a villain's death if he can.
Okay.
That is like his whole thing.
This is me sleeping through Trigun and not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, no, Vash does not kill. That's literally like his core.
Okay.
He will not kill.
Batman.
So when he when deaths happen because of him, he takes it to heart and blames himself.
Okay.
Wolfwood, on the other hand, is like, hey, buddy, we need to fucking kill this guy or things are gonna get worse. And Vash is like, but maybe we can talk them out of it. And he's like, that's not how it fucking works, bud.
Yeah.
It's great. But then from there, we also like Vash falls into the sand and we see like Amelia stops chasing Gasbag.
Mm-hmm.
She gives up her current fascination, her current work to like stop and try to save Vash instead. Yeah. Wolfwood, who was like, and again in this chase in particular, mostly focused on like Wolfwood and also like stopping Gasbag because he stole a town's plant, but was like, this is the focus now. The focus is Vash. We are centering on Vash. Which even, again, Amelia did as well. And then from there, they don't continue the fight. They go back to the village they were in. They separate. They isolate themselves. And they mourn in silence. They do not talk to anyone. They do not try to go to a bar to drink their sorrows. They just are in silence. And then they come back together and they decide they are going to take up the mission that Vash wanted, not killing Gasbag, but getting the plant back. And here is the icing on the cake. Wolfwood wears Vash's glasses for the mission. Now, they don't necessarily fully take on Vash's morals of we're not going to kill anyone to do it. They're like, we're still our own people. We are going to kill people, but we are going to get that plant back because that's what Vash would do.
Yeah.
They take up his mission. Wolfwood puts on Vash's glasses and they go in guns a-blazing, and it's great. And also, it's fine. Vash survived anyway.
Yeah.
Because he didn't actually get shot, and the insurance girls happened to ride by just where he was buried under the sand and was able to get out. So it's fine. But the parallels were all just right there, and it's just good. Wolfwood, it's great. Now we can finally move on to Tri-Stamp, which is my personal favorite.
I have some thoughts on this.
First things first, we have rumors of possible season 2 news coming out in July. Because there is going to be a fan expo or something expo. I know where? I don't remember where. But the thing is, it's going to be on July 4th. Okay. And there is going to be a Tri-Stamp Studio Orange panel where they have promised just updates on what's to come.
Okay, so you might get something. Did they greenlight it officially, or? We
know that they have promised that there will be more. There is more to come.
Okay.
We just don't know what exactly, what shape that's coming in, whether it's just going to be a movie or a season 2.
Yeah.
But something. Fun little fact, Johnny Young Bosch has played Vash in all 3 iterations.
Oh my god.
He's the only actor to stay consistent.
I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, he played Vash in Trigun, in Badlands, and in Tri-Stamp. So, he is truly rocking it.
That's crazy.
So, I wrote down, first of all, I have so many points. Oh my god, I don't know if we're going to get through everything. But that's okay, that one's just for funsies. Well, I'm going to make this work, guys.
Okay.
I'm going to try and speed through some of it. But first things first, speaking of how, lore was, really tricky to get into in, Trigun, Trigun Stampede opens with a shot of a spaceship, and we get to see Vash and Nye running together as the spaceship starts to crash. They jump in the pod as Rem is like, you two get safe. I'm going to try to save the ship. And then we watch the ship blow up with Rem in it. All right, we know this is sci-fi. We know Vash lost his mother, and we know there was a crash down to the desert planet. All right, that's a good start for me. I know some of the trauma. I know some of the lore. That's all I needed. That gives me somewhere to start from. And I won't be guessing if Vash has a late girlfriend who's actually his mother.
Because you know now.
This is a good start, y'all. Good start. Now, that's not to say that, the other show wasn't good because it was fun. It's a fun time. It's just also very confusing and shocking when you realize the truth. But it's also just like a good time, so it's fine. I will say that like the very first like hint of Vash being inhuman does not happen on the ship. It happens in the second episode, when technically it happens kind of in the first when
he's like talking to the plant.
Well, there he mentions like knowing about the plant. We know he's a plant expert. Engineer. They call him an engineer. And you hear the plants are lost tech from the spacefaring age, meaning no one's traveling to space. No one understands this technology anymore. And we're like, but wasn't Vash on a spaceship?
And he doesn't look that, he looks like 10 years older maybe, so you're like, well, how long ago was that?
Exactly, so you get like that.
Yeah.
But then also you see when the Nebraska family tries to steal a plant from Genora Rock, you see Gosif, who is this like very large guy, very strong guy, struggling to carry the plant tank. He's like barely managing to carry it over, and then Vash just so easily plucks it from his arms, sets it behind him so that he can then lift Gosif up.
Yeah, so you're like,
And it's a blink and you miss it moment. Like, it happens so fast that I truly did not notice in my first like 2 or 3 watches. And then I watched it again, I was like, he just picks it up and sees that. So that's fun. That just like happens. And then like another one is in episode 4. It's the episode when you first meet Wolfwood, which first of all, we gotta stop introducing Wolfwood by hitting him with a car. That happens in every, like, it definitely happened in Trigun, it definitely happened in Tri-Stamp.
That must be from the manga then.
It's gotta be. He just like, or he almost got hit by the bus in Trigun. He fully got hit by the trailer in Tri-Stamp. Like, but it's in that episode, just as we're getting the Zazie reveal, which, God, I fucking love Zazie. I will get into that in a minute, but like, fuck, I love Zazie. Vash says something like, that buzzing sound, it must be coming from you. And Zazie goes, whoa, you can hear that? Regular old humans shouldn't be able to hear that at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that's good, because he's not a regular old human there, Zazie.
No.
Which I know you know that, but like, let's just put a little emphasis there.
It's a bit of a mystery.
It's just like, yeah, it all comes together in the episode with the sand steamer, when like Wolfwood and Vash and whatever, they have to stop the steamer from hitting the orphanage. And finally everyone comes in to see Vash like fully talking to the plant, engaging with the plants.
Yeah,
and then he turns around, he's got all the plant markings, and then he just like fucking passes out right there.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. What a way to respond. It's like, yes, here's the big reveal, here's my big secret.
I'm gonna pass out now.
Anyway, I'm not dealing with this. God, it's so cool. It's so cool, because that's also the first time you see that the plants can like fully unfurl to reveal like
that's
humanoid form. So many good reveals in that episode.
Yeah.
So that's, I love that. I love all the little hints that lead up to the full complete reveal of like what he is.
Yeah, that's cool.
One of the most tragic lines I think in the whole show happens like right after the Genora Rock destruction, and where Meryl goes, well, how can you just smile? And Vash says, easy, I don't deserve to cry. And it's like,
that's a good line.
You've been alive for 150 years. You deserve anything you need. Please cry. And then like later on, after like, you know, a couple episodes go by and he's like having the worm meat around the fire with Wolfwood. And he's like, well, I think I deserve to like laugh and cry and eat and stuff. And you're just like, growth.
Yeah.
Growth. Thank you, my boy. Anyway, little bit more Wolfwood stuff. Again, I'm trying to breeze through some of my just like vague notes so I can get to my like organized notes. Wolfwood stuff. He's the worst priest ever. I know technically in the show he's not a priest, he's an undertaker. Okay. So it's fine that he's messing it up, but like trying to do a eulogy and saying their kingdom coming is by far the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, it's like, yeah, Heavenly Father, they're dead now, their kingdom coming. Like, funny! Like, I know.
That's not how that goes.
And I know that no one here is actually particularly sad about this dead couple. No one knew them. Like, sad in general for the loss of life, but no one knew these people, so, like, it's fine. But everyone thought this was this couple's child standing here. Like, oh, I kind of wonder if in season 2 or whatever we get, are we gonna get more of Wolfwood being a priest? Like, is he gonna try to be more priestly? Because, God, I hope so.
Yeah.
He may just give it up entirely, which would also be fine, but it's so funny to think about. And then also about Wolfwood, I love when we get his backstory, how it's all in a different animation style until immediately after his experimentation, and then suddenly we're back in the normal animation style. Because one, it gives you that sort of like good memories, get that sort of nostalgia effect. And then you see during the experimentation, the animation shifts just a little bit again to that sort of like LSD sort of worm drug, whatever is going on. And then he wakes up strapped to the table covered in blood. And it's the normal animation style. Oof. And it's just like such a abrupt shift back to where we are today. And it's just like,
oh, I like when shows do that, like a different animation style for certain things.
It's so good. It's such a good, like, it hits every time, because every time I watch it and it's like, oh yeah, here he is back in the orphanage, and I'm just like, yeah, it's him. And I cannot for the life of me remember the woman in charge of the orphanage's name, but I adore her, and he loved her, I know that. And like, Livio's here, little baby crybaby Livio.
Little baby Livio.
And him feeding all the little Thomas birds. There's just, and it's all gone now. Like, I think like the orphanage is still there, but like his place is gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, Wolfwood's like maybe 12. It's possible. I mean, I don't think he is. But, like, we don't know. He aged so fast.
Yeah.
There's no way to know what age he is.
Yeah.
Like, he aged up to adulthood from, like, 9 years old.
Yeah, we don't know.
So, like, there's no way to know how old he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how old he is, I bet. It's genuinely so tragic. Okay, I am going to talk about Zazie for a second, because I love them.
Okay.
Zazie the Beast is there from the very beginning, excepting, the crash.
Yeah.
But like from like we see worms pretty much everywhere. We see them like picking at, like, the bird kind of worms are picking at Vash when he's hung upside down when Meryl first spots him. We see Tonys has a collection in his little cage, like his little like pet worms. We see them flying overhead as we like come in close to Janora Rock. We see worms everywhere, all the time, because they are like the primary species of this planet. And so many subspecies. There's like the giant sandworms and the like tiny little amoeba worms that make the like glow effect in the sky. They are everywhere. And Zazie is essentially the like a like hive mind of these things. And it's like they are watching the entire story. Even when we go to ship 3, the one in the sandstorm, Zazie doesn't see the whole thing, but comes in because they figure out there's a ship there. So it's, we know that, like, one, Zazie's watching the whole time. We also know that Zazie has kindnesses done to them by Vash. Vash is, like, kind to them when Zazie shows them off, or when Tony shows them off in the cage. And then after the Janora Rock disaster, lets them out of their cage because now Tonys can't care for them. And like constantly it's just doing small kindnesses for the worms and as they go. I mean, also like eats the worm meat when they're at the fire, but like never does harm to the worms when he doesn't have to. And I sort of wonder, does, and like at the kind of towards the end, we know that Zazie and Wolfwood have like a enmity sort of like they butt heads all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very end, like truly like one of the last scenes, Meryl goes to visit July. It's been a couple years. It's the anniversary of the disaster. And Zazie's just sitting on the car. And it's like, first of all, how did people get it so wrong calling Vash the villain of this story? And Meryl's like, why are you here? And I'm like, no, engage with this question.
Yeah.
Meryl, engage. And then Zazie's like, anyway, I just wanted to tell you that, like, other humans are coming. Just wanted to let you know that the twins sent out a signal and it's being answered. So, like, just thought you might want to know. Bye. And it's like, Zazie, why are you warning anyone?
Yeah.
What? And particularly, you're warning Vash's friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I noticed this. Like, does Zazie have an interest in Vash? Do they like Vash?
Yeah.
They gave Vash's friends a chance to like speak up for plants or to speak up for humanity in kidnapping Roberto and Meryl. Like, Zazie is like a neutral character.
Yeah.
It's currently kind of aligned with Knives, but like also so willing to like be swayed, and I just find them so fascinating, and I think they have a fondness for Vash that they just are, where they're just kind of willing to like, you know, slide a little bit here, slide a little bit there, just you know, we'll see where that leads kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. That's my main thoughts on Zazie because I love them. Only other thought really is that like they after seeing them in Tri-Stamp, it was a big letdown in Trigun because they're not a cool worm hive mind. They're just like a kid with like an earpiece that lets them like talk to animals, which is like a cool thing, but it's like, but you were the preeminent species on the planet in the last one I watched, and that's much cooler.
Right.
Let's see, where do I want to go with this? We can talk about. Let's talk about the final fight of Tri-Stamp.
I fell asleep during this.
Oh my god, but it was so cool. Okay, so like, first of all, I'm still mad that Roberto died. Like, I understand why he had to.
Yeah.
It has to set up so that Meryl is ready to take on Millie as a partner for the next season.
Yeah.
I get that. But they killed a man named Roberto De Niro, and I'm so mad about it.
The names are so funny.
The names are so good.
Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep.
To be fair, it is Strife.
Yeah, but it's like...
But it is indicative, for sure.
It's just like Roberto De Niro. Like...
Yeah. It's definitely... Yeah, for a hot minute, I did think... I was misreading the like IMDb page, and I thought it was someone voiced by Robert De Niro, not that the character was named Roberto De Niro. So that was on me, but...
That's funny.
So, this final fight. So Nye, or Knives, Millions Knives, God, what a fucking name. Hello, my name is Millions Knives. At least be like Million Knives.
Mm-hmm.
Or just Knives is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, that's not my business. Nye has spent like 150 years setting himself up to be a god, the god. He's got an army of angels or the Eye of Michael, whatever you want to call them. And he has set himself up, appearance-wise, location-wise, to be every inch the angel he wants to be. And it particularly shows in this fight. He is all in whites and silvers. Everything about him is clean, sharp lines. He tends to stay in bright lighting. His weapons are sharp blades. His wings are like pointed, sharp, clean. Everything about him is like sharp and clean and white. Silvers, everything like that. Whereas Vash, once he's like released from the tank, or not released, escapes from the tank, everything about him is like cast in darkness. His coat and glasses have been stained to a black purple. His wings are kind of messy, not entirely solid. They're somewhere between like a liquid and like a plasma.
Interesting.
Also in this sort of black purple fluctuation. His weapon is this clunky ass gun, and also this like it's not a weapon he's got, but it could easily be this cube of that is entire like an entire gate to an entire other realm compressed, so it's a bomb waiting to go off. um so he could easily be set up to be the devil to Nye's god. um and it just the whole thing sets it up so that Vash continues to be the devil that everyone thinks he is. He's this monster um that is people know he's in town. He looks as ominous as all get out. As he's flying around, everyone is just truly waiting for him to destroy July. He's already attempted it with the vines that spread from him all through the city, starting to like tear things apart. And then Nye shows up looking every inch the savior. Meanwhile, he's the one cutting people's heads off and slicing them in half, while Vash is desperately trying to tell people get out of the city.
Yeah.
And it's just truly beautiful, the like swap of imagery and like symbolism involved in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I also really love that Vash, in utilizing the cube, which is his gate that he created condensed, he's able to utilize that to open or create his own uh, angel gun, the third gun of Trigun.
The
Trigun. Although to be fair, we haven't seen the second gun, which is the gun that his like hand, his prosthetic uses or is. We haven't seen that one yet. So I guess technically it's only 2 of the 3, but it doesn't matter. He creates it for himself, rather than like in Trigun, where every time the angel gun came out, except for in the final fight, it was forced upon him. Someone else triggered it in him.
Interesting.
So I really liked watching where he engaged his own ability in order to attempt to expel the energy safely away from humanity and save them. It naturally doesn't work. Nye kills himself trying to steal the energy from Vash. It overpowers him and burns him to a crisp. We haven't seen the last of him. There's no fucking way. And it pushes Vash back down enough into the Earth's atmosphere that when it does finally blow, it destroys all of July. Which, the destruction of July, is the event in Trigun that the woman was accusing Vash of that he said he didn't remember.
Gotcha.
So Trigun takes place 20 years after the events of the finale of Tri-Stamp.
Interesting.
It is very interesting because both series have the meeting of Wolfwood, so clearly like they're taking timelines at a bit of a liberty. One of them is, I assume, Tri-Stamp, but I also just adore the setup.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I love the execution of the final fight. It's just beautiful. Also, parts of the fight are like very like gorgeous and like beautifully choreographed, and then some of them are also just like siblings biting each other.
Yeah.
So it's they get the whole sibling thing.
Good.
Okay, I'm going to breeze through this super actually, you know what, we're going to skip that bit.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about this bit first. We're going to talk about the religious allegories that are in this show, because oh boy, this bad boy can fit so much Bible in it. So fun fact, I wrote my honors thesis, my undergrad honors thesis was biblical fan fiction, comedic biblical fan fiction. So this is like kind of exactly my shit. I love finding all the like nitty gritty details. It's fun for me. Bible as literature is good. It's good. It's fun. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different ways that you can look at all this good shit that can be just, some of it's much more obvious than others. Most of it also is, most of it's pretty obvious. But we're going to start with the more blatant. We're going to start with Adam and Eve. Vash and Nye are the Adam and the Eve. Usually Nye is the Adam, but it comes very specifically in that like they are the first of their kind. They are the first independent plants. technically there's also Tesla, but we don't really have access to her a whole lot, so we're not counting her. Don't worry about it. It's Vash and Nye are the first of their kind. They and one of Nye's biggest goals is to start a new Eden with Vash and their plant sisters. One of the ways he wants to do this is by impregnating their plant sisters via Vash.
It's weird.
So Nye kind of wants to impregnate Vash. So Adam impregnating Eve. He just really has a breeding kink, y'all, and it is just right there out in the open. I watched this with someone and I was like, "Damn, dude, that guy's got a breeding kink," and she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What do you mean? What do I mean? You were watching him impregnate people on live television."
Yeah.
Anyway, he Nye also betrayed their peaceful life, causing the fall of man. But also, you could say that Vash caused that. He would say he caused that.
Yeah.
He feels the guilt of forcing all mankind out into the wasteland. He takes on the role of the first man, the one who bears the weight of original sin. Ironically, you could say he's also the second Adam, aka Jesus, which we'll get into that connection in a minute.
Okay.
So he's both of the Adams. Fun fact. Cain and Abel. This one's not got as many points, but it's there. They're the brothers.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, Cain would be Nye, Abel would be Vash, because Nye was not content in their peaceful life among humans, whereas Vash was flourishing there.
Mm-hmm.
So Nye betrayed his brother and all of humanity, and now they both walk the earth in isolation rather than one of them being dead. Yeah. Both of them got Cain's punishment, but close enough. Now, Jesus. Miraculous birth feels pretty self-explanatory. They were born from a plant, which is not necessarily a sexual creature.
Yeah.
So there you go. Not fully human, but not fully plant or god.
Yeah.
That one feels also self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And then Vash. So that one kind of applies to both Nye and Vash.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone would necessarily say that Nye is a Jesus figure.
We don't want to put that.
We're not going to put that out there. We're not going to manifest that one. Vash tries to be kind and loving to all, searches for and attempts to spread peace and love in an impossible world desperate for survival. So that's kind of his core focus. So I feel like it's there. To further this, I have a Jesus and Judas dynamic with Vash and Wolfwood. Vash still being Jesus, Judas being Wolfwood. They are literally walking around with a cross that is consistently said to be heavy with mercy. Vash is self-sacrificial to a fault, and Wolfwood is willing to make the hard moves. Wolfwood brings the cross to Vash, and then, beyond that, brings Vash to his death. He betrays Vash, even after learning to love him and his ways of life.
That makes sense.
So, we see this in all versions. He comes to Vash with a mission to bring him to Nye. 2 knives to bring him to something that could either be death or self-death. The death of who Vash is at his core. He doesn't necessarily know what the result will be, but he's taking him to a man who will do whatever it takes to either kill Vash or, destroy him in some way. Even after, knowing Vash and the good that he can do. And there are multiple times where he, kind of gives Vash an out, and Vash is like, no, we'll just keep going, it's fine.
Yeah.
Which is,
that tracks.
hard on everyone involved.
Yeah.
Wolfwood is betraying Vash. Vash knows it nearly the whole time.
Yep.
Still loves, accepts, and embraces him. And at the end, he even thanks him.
Yeah.
Which I think is, it hurts so much.
Yeah.
But it just, it feels like, God, they've got that dynamic down, huh?
Yep.
It's right there. This one is extremely obvious. Rem and Meryl, specifically because Meryl mirrors Rem in every way. They constantly set her up to be a mirror to Rem, in that Vash is always like, oh, I heard her through you, and whatever. It's like, leave her alone. They are both very reminiscent of Mary.
Yeah.
With the Mother Mary. Endlessly loving. They accept the miracles that occur, learn and grow from them. They are motherly to someone or something that is not human, and they love them all the same.
Yeah.
Rem is even like Rem doesn't necessarily know what Nye is going to be, but she's still like she recognizes that he is very unlike Vash, and still like she loves both her boys.
Yeah.
In Stampede, you see she calls them they're her boys, and she loves her boys, and she loves them so much, and she's going to do everything she can to both protect and love them. God, I love Rem, and Meryl is wonderful, and I think she could kick Knives' ass. That's not exactly a Mary thing. That's just in general. I can skip that little bit. This was just the super speedrun fun little bit. This is me talking about the gung ho guns. They have not yet been called that in Tri-Stamp. Mm-hmm. They were called that in Trigun and Trimax. This is a crew of assassins. They are organized by Legato Blue Summers, who takes orders directly from Knives. And in Trigun, a lot of them were trying to kill Vash, or at the very least, just be a problem for him. But there are so many of these guys, and not one of them did any good, really.
Yeah.
So this is just super, super quick little notes on them, just because I think they're funny. Monev the Gale, we did get to see him in Tri-Stamp. He was Rolo. But a fun fact about him, his name is just Venom spelled backwards, because I believe Naito just liked Venom from Spider-Man. E.g. mine, he is always useless. He doesn't last very long in either version. But his like cool wheelie thing is neat. Dominique the Cyclops, she's actually pretty cool. We saw her in Trigun. She has like an eye patch that can like briefly hypnotize you so that she can run close to you super fast. But you think she didn't run? You thought she just appeared next to you super fast. She should have killed Vash when she had the chance. She missed her shot. Lenoff, the puppet master, he's just a freaky little guy. He doesn't get into the fighting zone. He stays very far away and sends his creepy little puppets.
Like Conqueror.
Yeah, except his puppets aren't even that cool. They're just like an orb.
Okay.
It's just like whatever. Chapel. He's a bitch with freaky eyes, in Trigun at least. I don't know if they were his eyes or they were supposed to be goggles or like glasses, but they didn't connect across the bridge of his nose. So it just looked like he had like weird, silly clown eyes or something. I don't know. He's a bitch. He's the guy who like raised Livio and Wolfwood.
Okay.
And like that one. He's just like running a church, except it's a church for assassins. He sucks. There's Hopperid, the Gauntlet. I don't know. I don't think I even saw him. I don't know that guy. Mid-Valley the Horn Freak, my beloved. He can play evil murder music. He can play music that kills you or causes a lot of pain. But mostly he just plays mood music while other people are doing murder. I love him. Mm-hmm. He just plays an evil saxophone. Talk about like Magnus Archives. What's the slaughter band?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, God, that's gonna bug me.
I don't remember what it was.
But he's basically them. Gray the Nine Lives. He's the party's tank. You can just hit him for a very long time. He's mostly a robot, I think. Rayday, the Blade. I don't know that one either. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. Zazie the Beast. We've already talked about. Mm-hmm. Livio the Double Fang. Wolfwood's like brother figure. I love him. And then there's Razlo the Tri-Punisher of Death. And Razlo, I have technically only seen a very brief flash of in the Livio like montage, but he is Livio's altar.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see more of that guy. He looks really cool.
Yeah.
He looks really cool. Elendira the Crimson Nail. If you're looking at Tri-Stamp, she's like a weird Nye clone child who's very scary and throws knives at you. Or not knives, like steel nails at you. Or she's like a grown woman who also seems very scary. Either way, I'm like
cool
into it. Like she seems terrifying. There's Kane the Longshot. He's a sniper, but apparently he only exists in the Trigun anime. They just made up an extra gung-ho gun for some reason.
Okay.
And then there's Legato Blue Summers, my beloved. I hate that guy. Apparently he had food scarcity as a child. Like, he just didn't have access to food, so most of the time when you see him, he is eating.
Yeah.
So that's a neat little detail I learned. You know how he has, like, his left arm looks like his left arm is apparently the arm that Vash lost when he first accessed his gate.
That's
and it got like sucked into the vortex. Well, Knives apparently got it back and stuck it on Legato.
That doesn't surprise me.
So that's what that's all about. Those are the gung ho guns. There's too many of them. I think there's one that was like rejected who was also named Chapel. So there were 2 Chapels.
Oh my gosh.
But that guy got kicked out or something. I don't know. I didn't add him to my list because I didn't know anything. I just saw him on the wiki page. That's the big stuff. Anyway, I love Trigun. I love Tri-Stamp, and I need more of it. So, please come talk to me about Tri-Stamp.
Yeah, please talk to Hunter, because I don't talk to him.
I do plan on reading Trimax. I found a website that has like links to scans of it. So I will be reading that at some point soon, because I need to know the like OG lore.
Yeah.
I need to know. I need to see the couch. It'll kill me, but I need to see the couch, y'all.
Nice.
Oh, it's gonna hurt so bad, but it'll just be good. But yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's Trigun, y'all. That was a whole hour and 5 about Trigun.
I don't know why I didn't like it. Probably just because it was a space western.
That's fair. It's not for everyone. If it was a different
setting, I might have been more into it. Because I do like the symbolism and the relationship. I like sibling stuff, so...
And, like, technically it is all siblings, because one, you got Wolfwood and Livio, but then, like, at the bare bones of it is all Vash and Knives. Yeah. I guess it's just like I do like their interactions. I just need more of it to be engaged. And I don't like Wolfwood and Livio because I feel like Wolfwood is a bad brother to Livio. Are you kidding me?
That just from my like half awake watching Tri-Stamp.
No.
That's just how my perception was, and I don't want to. But I don't know, it's like you see your like brother for the first time, and he's trying to kill you, but like you haven't seen him in forever, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go with my new boyfriend now, bye. Like, you just leave
didn't. He literally didn't. He did everything he could to keep the 2 away, and he said, if I have to, like, he's like, if you 2 hurt each other, I will not be able to stand it. He's like, you 2 have to stay separated so I don't have to kill either of you. I'm begging. And then Vash was like, but what if I stay here and help try to get your guy back? He's like, you can't. It can't be done. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so instead, because we can't fix him, just stay away so I don't have to watch you kill each other.
Mm.
So he just tried to keep them separated so he could try to, like, just not watch them kill each other.
Okay.
That was his whole point, and Vash was like, I'm gonna stay up here instead. He's like, why?
Yeah.
Please don't make me do this.
Yeah. I don't know, I would have dropped everything for my sibling. I would have been like, bye, Vash. Like, I'm just...
That wasn't an option. Like, it was literally, like, stalking Vash. There wasn't a pick.
I don't know.
There wasn't a way to pick one or the other when one is stalking the other.
I guess.
He's stuck.
I don't know, that's just what I was watching it half awake, so I was like, don't like this very much.
There wasn't a pick and choose option. He said, I can subdue Livio so that Vash can live and Livio can live, or they will kill each other.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 options here.
Okay.
Because Livio can't be fixed. He knew that.
I guess I misinterpreted him subduing Livio as, like, hurting/killing him, and I was like, that made me think that he was choosing Vash over his brother, and I was like,
no, he was just like trying to do anything to keep them from like from having to kill one or the other.
Okay.
He's like, if I can just stop Livio, then I don't have to kill anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, oh shit, they did something to Livio, so he heals even faster than I do. Fuck.
Yeah.
So he was just stuck in an impossible position, and meanwhile Legato's down in the car like, who will he kill? And Zazi's back there like, can I go home? I want to go home. And he's like, shut the fuck up. That didn't work, so now I'm gonna go crash into the orphanage. And he's like, I'm gonna explode. Wolfwood's like, I'm gonna kill someone. Not y'all, but someone. I guess the ship. Gonna go kill the ship now. And then he did. It was great.
Vaguely remember that too.
But no, at no point did he want to kill either Vash or Livia. Okay. He was doing everything he could to keep the two of them from killing anyone.
That makes me feel a little better. But still. Yeah. I still think he should have like gone with Livio and helped him recover, but that's just
me. Livio was dead. Livio shot himself.
So that's what I didn't like.
Livio was traumatized and brainwashed. Yeah. He just couldn't stop him from shooting himself and falling off the ship.
I don't know. I would have gone after the body.
They had to stop the ship from hitting the orphanage. They didn't have time to get the body.
I don't know.
There was so much happening, Rachel.
I was asleep. He was like, I was hyper focused on the sibling.
He's like, I have to stop them. I have to stop them from killing each other. And then he's like, wait, maybe. Vash is like, please, I'm begging you. I saw hesitation. I think you can still reach him. And he's like, I don't know. It's never worked in the years we've tried this. And he's like, please, I'm begging, try. And then he's like, okay, fine. And then he tried, and it worked. Okay. And then he's like, oh, Wolfwood. And then he's like, oh, now I remember all the shit I've done and all the shit that's been done to me. Well, I can't deal with this. Dies, falls off the rail. And he's like, okay. We can't stop the ship. The ship's gonna hit the orphanage. I can't deal with this right now, so I'm gonna go break the entire ship. And Vash was like, great, I'm gonna go deal with the plant, and that will also stop the ship, and then we can save all your other orphan siblings.
Okay.
And they were like, great, good plan, let's fucking go. And then they did, and then at that point, Vash's family in ship 3? I think. The ship inside the storm came in and scooped them all up into the ship to heal Vash and help take care of them. Okay. And remove them, sorry baby, remove them from all of the like threat of Legato and Zazie, who were like right on their trail.
Okay.
So they like truly had, there was all bad options and they did not have time to go after the corpse of his brother. And even if they had time to go back, Legato already had him in his clutches again. Which is why we're gonna get Razlo. I'm very excited to get Razlo.
Yeah, I do like the DID part.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Like, I mean, obviously it sucks, but like also I think it'll be fun. I
like it for sure. Those of y'all who don't know, I work with people with DID a lot, so I have a very soft spot for that.
So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. And I think Razlo technically must exist before the death. Because in the montage where he's like, oh no, like things must have been, or like right before he shoots himself, I feel bad. I feel like we should have put a trigger warning on this or something, but
I will.
There's a brief shot of one chapel. It's kind of blurry, but he's there. I have paused on it to get a look at what the chapel looked like. He doesn't have
frame.
He does not have the freaky weirdo eyes he had in Trigun.
Okay.
And then you see Livio looking in a mirror, and then it kind of fuzzes, and then it kind of fuzzes, and then it kind of fuzzes one more time, and then he has like a different hairstyle and a different look on his face.
Yeah.
And it's Razlo's design, which he has a very cool design. I'm very much like, because it's, you know, Livio's all like slicked back ponytail. Razlo's got this like fucking mohawk look.
Interesting.
Very into it, which like is not dissimilar, I understand, from what like it's different in that it matches the tone of the new show, but like it's close enough to his manga design, I think.
Okay, cool.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing Razlo.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting his vibe.
That's cool. But yeah, talk to Hunter about it, 'cause apparently I don't remember very much about it. So.
Should we do a rewatch to see if you actually do like the show?
I don't want to.
Well, you don't have to. I'm just throwing it out as an option.
Maybe if I don't have anything else to watch.
Fair enough. But yeah, feel free to, our email is open. We've got that posted, I think, with our various like socials and stuff.
Join us on Discord, because right now we're just talking to each other.
Yeah, it's mostly just us sending memes. We have a Patreon. It's only like $1 a month. That gets you access to the Discord. That's just like helping us with, you know, regular just maintenance shit for the podcast. And if you guys have any requests, for other
Episodes,
topics, like
let us know.
like let us know, and if it's stuff that we are familiar with, we can totally add it to the list or bump that topic to the top of the list.
If we haven't seen it, we're putting it on our list to watch
for sure, or read, or
consume. Consume is a good word.
But otherwise we'll see you guys. We'll
Next
talk
time.
to you guys soon enough.
Bye.
Bye.